Schools in Birmingham are facing a radical shake-up which could see services such as admissions, transport and school meals privatised.
City Council says it's looking to save £20 million after losing money from central government because of a big increase in academy schools.
Local businesses will be encouraged to support schools, but one teaching union says privatising services could damage a child's education. Ben Godfrey reports.
Queensbridge Secondary in Birmingham is an Ofsted outstanding school. It's run by the City Council, but it's had freedom to outsource. So school meals, occupational health and HR are all done privately.
When we switched to a private provider, we saw a big improvement in the quality of what children ate and their enjoyment of food in school. That wasn't a hard thing to spot. So there are places where it's very easy to use the marketplace.
Birmingham City Council says it must save £20 million and would like 400 other schools to follow suit.
We're put in a position now where we have to consider things that would have been unpalatable several years ago, and certainly I didn't become a Labour councillor to come and privatise things. However, the position we've been put in with this triple whammy of budget cuts means that we do have to consider all options that are on the table.
The rise of academy schools is one reason. Councils don't get a 10% cut of a school's budget because government funding goes direct to an academy, cutting out the middleman. By September, more than half of Birmingham's secondary schools will be academies, along with almost a third of primaries. But one teaching union's concerned that outsourcing services will reduce the quality of education.
The council has a duty to provide special needs services, for example, to all schools. And if these services are outsourced, it could lead to those staff posts being at risk.
What happens in these exam rooms will soon be of greater interest to local companies, because under these plans, a new education partnership is being formed, linking the Chamber of Commerce with local schools. These controversial proposals are subject to a public consultation. Parents and teachers are being encouraged to join a debate. Ben Godfrey, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
And our political editor, Patrick Burns, is here with us now. It comes to something, I'd have thought, when a Labour-run authority plans to privatise on a scale like this.
Well, it reminds me, Nick, of what Alan Milburn said when he was a health minister in the Labour government. He said it's private finance or bust. And this is in part about making sure that a council the size of Birmingham doesn't actually go bust. That £20 million saving is not optional. But what's also going on here, as we saw here in that report, is that for all its size, a council like Birmingham simply has fewer controlling levers at its disposal now than it did in the days when it ran most of the schools. So what this is about is building up a new set of levers in partnership, yes, with private sector providers, also with a whole new set of local partners in business, in the universities, to help the council drive up those all-important skills standards in areas of the city which are chronically underachieving.
And Birmingham is, of course, Britain's biggest local authority, isn't it? So I presume it has some sort of influence over others. I mean, do you think more councils could do the same?
Well, it's significant that Bridget Jones, the Education Cabinet member in Birmingham, said that this process of finding efficiencies is going to be a year-on-year process. And I can think of several councils, including Conservative-controlled Staffordshire, who think that local government generally has a way to go yet in terms of smarter working, forming partnerships, and yes, outsourcing some of their services.
Now, you'll be at Westminster tomorrow, won't you, when George Osborne reveals his spending review. Do you reckon we're going to see more cuts to local government budgets?
Well, I think it's clear that we'll get confirmation that for the year after the general election, local government will be hit with a further 10% cut in budget, so they will have to trim. Frankly, whoever comes into office after the next general election, we know that Labour will make cuts as well. So what we can say, I think, quite safely is that this austerity goes on for at the very least another 5 years.
Gosh, Patrick, thank you.
It's 7:15. This is our top story.